Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Daily High with your host, Matt McGregor and Tone Vase. I'm going to try and talk a little bit quieter today. I've got a blown out voice box, some kind of infection, so we'll try and push through that. But it's very much made easier by the fact that the price of Bitcoin went to incredible heights last night. Tone, good morning. How are you?
Morning, I'm good. I got the puppy sleeping here behind me.
It's very
And yeah, I didn't get much sleep. I got a flight to El Salvador in a few hours. So let's talk about the price. I think it's in a very interesting spot right now. And
it is.
with the daily MRI top coming in today. So
Yeah,
Matt, what do you got for us?
yeah, it is. I'm just going to open my trading account right now because I am in a live trade right now, which is looking in jeopardy. So I might have to just click a market close button at any time right now. So give me 1 second to set that up. I I want to talk about what has happened in the last 24 hours because it is super interesting. Let's go into that right now. Looking at the daily time right now, I'm going to clean my charts up in real time. As I said in last night's show, I was long from 87.5 200, and I didn't know where to close it. It just kept cracking on. It was absolutely sensational. And it got to about 2 in the morning, perhaps around that time. I'm like, I have to go to bed here. So I set a $1,000 trailing stop because I thought, well, I'm already in about 55% profit here. And the price was, it was peaking. It was like, 93, 300. And I was like, I'm setting a $1,000 trailing stop. I don't mind losing $1,000 on this trade. I'm taking it. And then before I even went to bed, it was out of that trade. It was out of that trade. It did dropped $1,000, and I was like, okay, I'm out. Cool. I'm going to bed. Absolutely sensational trade. The daily time frame, it pulled right back down. We have to dig into the lower time frames now to have a look at what actually happened there, which I'll do right now. I'll go to the 15-minute time frame. Sorry, guys. Sorry. So, like, this is where the trade was pulled right there on that candle. I mean, that drop when I set the sell where it hit almost immediately, as I said before I hit bed. So I'm going to clean up these right now. We don't need these anymore. This trade is buried. And we came all the way back down to almost the entry point and got back inside the way. But none of this matters. We're looking at alpha metrics on the 50-minute time frame. It's not a big deal, right? Throughout the day, we came up to on this candle right here. I was really impressed because we'd sort of recovered half the dip that we had. And I thought, okay, that's a fair reaction to come back down to retest sort of the breakout point. I consider this sort of the breakout point. Everything's in descending triangles right now, and I'll go into that in a minute. But let's see if I can get a good view on this. But just like sort of this descending triangle, it's just triangles on triangles, like turtles all the way down, as Tone likes to say. Um, it just sort of looked like that's kind of it's lagging a little bit here, but you know what I mean. Like it kind of looks like a triangle. The 15-minute maybe doesn't look as good as the hourly time frame does, but then it broke out, back tested, and then got into another little sorry guys, another little triangle earlier today, which I thought, okay, here we go again. So I took that trade on here, which was a dud, and it came down. And on this candle right here, I called that trade as a loser and took 4% a loss on that trade. But then as we came back up and had a really good, we put in a higher low when I re-evaluated the charts. I thought this was a higher low here when we came in and went into the long. But when I saw more time had passed, I was like, okay, this is the higher low. That looks a bit better. And then when I saw that we were just putting these descending channels in over and over, triangles, whatever you want to call them, I was like, okay, I'll take that trade again. Got in a bit late and took it. And so it has been as much as 10% in profit, but it's fading. And right now I'm in 4% profit. So if I closed it out right now, I made back the loss that I took earlier in the day, give or take. But I haven't done that yet. I do think there's a high chance that we could go either way, but I don't know. So now I'm going to go back to the higher time frame. That's what's happened in my view in the last 24 hours. Let's have a look at what we're looking at a grander time frame. The MRI top is is concerning. It's very concerning for me, but it's not in isolation. It coincides with a few other things. We're very, very extended from the 7 simple moving average, which we don't like to be for too long. We either trend sideways for a while, give us a chance to catch up, uh, or we come back and retest it, or something like that would make total sense to me. Some of these oscillators, like the EXA here, is getting pretty high. If this starts to cross down, from these high vantage points, I could see a correction. Let's have a look here. Just keep that in mind. Cross, 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 and yet to be a cross. What does that look like on the charts? That's here, and that's a dip. I mean, it might not look like much, but that's a 16% dip. That one. All right, this one here, that came down as low as 10%. This one here came down as low as 5%. So it has a point. The RSI is getting up there. Like it's due for a bit of a pullback, and the copy curve looks fine to me. So it would make total sense to me to have a pullback on this candle, and it's a good time to take profit. No doubt about that. It's a good time to take profit if you're in from way lower, because as Tone will point out when he does his charts, you can always re-up and get back in. You might be able to get a chance to re-up at a higher position, do what I like to do, and take the same amount of position size, but greatly deleverage. If you're 10, 20x leverage and you've been in from a lot lower, you can put the same size position on using 2x, 3x, 4x leverage and have a lot more comfortability and sit in that for the next leg up. It's totally up to you what you do. But that's what I'm seeing on the daily time frame. I don't know. There is, of course, the possibility of like what Socrates was talking about in his the show that he and I did together, of this just becoming a face melter, and that's definitely a possibility as well, where this thing just continues to run and run and run, and we don't get any pullbacks. I'm very conscious of that as well, and that's ultimately why I took that trade on today, because you can see it really clearly on the 4 hour, like when we had that great run up, we came back all the way back down and gave all of it back, and then we recovered half of it again, and now we're 3/4 back into the way up. There's no reason to freak out on a macro time frame. I'm just talking about as a trader's point of view. As a macro time frame, this is the highest 4 hour close of all time. The 4 hour close we had 2 hours ago was the second highest 4 hour close of all time. 12-hour time frame, which we've just closed 2 hours ago, was the highest 12-hour of all time. And this is it got to the MRI top on the highest candle here as well. But this looks like if this keeps going up, it'll put a green star candle on 12-hour. So I don't know, Tone. I mean, it's hard. It's hard trading at these levels after we've had such a run up. My gut says that a pullback is imminent, but this thing could just continue to run. I'm coming back to you right now. Bangbox is reset, ready, locked, and loaded if we do take off higher. So get on board with that. Join the Discord group in the description below. It's a fantastic community. You'll really enjoy it. Totally free trading bot. Use the links in the description below. Tone, what are you seeing, mate? You're probably feeling what I'm feeling, right? Where this is a bit toppy, but it could probably kick off as well. We don't know. What do you reckon?
Yeah, let's jump right into the charts. Here's the monthly chart. The reason there's a circle over here is because the circle represents my 2-month chart. But on a monthly chart, we have a green star candle. This is a running candle. It's part of a much bigger picture, which has targets from the Fibonacci extension, from the cup and handle, and from the MRI itself. And these targets are over $100,000. So from a monthly, or even better, a 2-month candle perspective, because we started talking about this chart a lot earlier, there was a 2-month candle that ended going into the current candle, which had a green star candle. And every one of these green star candles fairly quickly created 100% gain after the candle closed. So not even factoring in the candle itself that has a green star, Bitcoin has always more than doubled in price over the next, 2 to 4 candles. So the last candle closed at 70,000. So 2 to 4 candles is 4 to 8 months, basically. In the next 4 to 8 months, the price is expected to double, which takes us to 140,000. And it usually does better than a doubling, but with each passing, year, it becomes harder and harder to push Bitcoin for the with diminishing returns. But I'm still expecting at least 100%, maybe even 200%. 200% puts us at 210,000, which is pretty good. Let's go to the weekly scale. The weekly scale today is Thursday. Okay. Now we're on the back end of this candle, and the weekends are usually very low volume, and price of Bitcoin doesn't move much on the weekends, but we all have, recency bias because this past weekend, Bitcoin went buck wild, and that's not normal. So I do not expect that again. And that's why from Monday morning, I think I did 3 shows on Tuesday. I think it was us, then Chris Dunn, then Mark Wood, and Monday was like a holiday. So on Tuesday, I was basically saying the following. On Tuesday, even while the price was pulling back down to 85,000, my view was that we are going to top in the mid 90s, somewhere between 93 and like 96 with the MRI top. And that's exactly what happened. And I drew this box. Technically, this is my exit box. Okay. Technically, this box starts on yesterday's candle, but if I do that, I can't see the wick of that candle. So that's why I put the box out here. This is my exit zone. As you can see, we are in my exit zone. Yesterday, my flight landed around 2 p.m. Eastern time. And the first thing I did was go into my trading account. And the price of Bitcoin was pulling back from 93,445. Remember on our stream, I said 94,445? It
Yeah.
should be the top. I was off by $1,000. And but I was able to get out of my position over here on this down candle because that's when I finally had access to my account. So I got out on this hour, right in the beginning of this hour. And my exit was approximately this blue line, maybe even a smidge higher, but I just like threw it in there for my own personal reference. It was at around 91 and a half or something. I was a little disappointed because I had stop losses set up at approximately 94,400, which is what I said it would be. It would have been nice to get out up here. Now I still have room to exit, but I am exiting this week. I'm still hoping that we go higher, but I'm not very optimistic. So in yesterday's
Just,
private group
just,
chats that I
just,
have with Mark, yeah, go
just
ahead.
clarify, Tone, because you're going to get torn to pieces by someone who's not familiar with your work. You're saying you want to exit, and everything you just said. You're not talking about your long-term view. That you're talking about a correction. Make that
Correct.
very clear for the
Oh no,
new
no,
people.
I am. I'm going to make it absolutely. No, no, this is a correction. This is why I started with the monthly chart, saying that my target is a minimum, absolute minimum, 120,000. That's my absolute minimum, right? That is between three targets, 100% gain takes me to 140. That's 100% gain since the 2-month Green Star candle concludes. That's 240. Sorry, 140. We have the Fibonacci extension at 102, and then we have the cup and handle target of 120. So I'm taking the middle target of 120 because the Fibonacci extensions, because Bitcoin always goes up and up and up, they've always made it all the way to 210. That's the real Fibonacci extension target, but we're going to take them one step at a time. Okay. Now, weekly is supposed to top next week, but this week's candle, I think, is already running on steams. And now we have the daily candle. The daily candle is now pushing 91. So in a private chat that I have with Mark Wood and a few other very top-notch analysts that are launching, I think at the end of this year, it's going to launch a subscription service. I may be part of that as well. We'll keep you posted on that. So Mark said when we were dropping on yesterday's candle right here. We were dropping to 89 yesterday. Mark's view was that as long as we close above 90,000, we're still pretty bullish. And my view is we need to close, or I don't like to use the term closing terminology. Yes, I do look at daily closes, but to me, it's where the price is after 10 in the morning. Like 10, 11 a.m. is more important to me than even a candle close in real time, because I think that's where the market is either crashing or that's where accelerating, right? I want to go past that 10 a.m. reversal. I want to get to that, 10:30, 11 a.m. time. And my view is we need to be above 92,000 early this afternoon for me to remain bullish. Right now, we're at almost 91,000. So my critical line, I'm going to move my line to 92,000 right here. This is my critical line. I think we need to be above this line this afternoon. If we are not above 92,000 this afternoon, New York, I'm considering this top to be in for at least a week or two. And the market can prove me wrong this weekend by going above it. And if the market proves me wrong this weekend by going above it, by the time I can re-enter my trade, which would be Monday, Tuesday, we would have a new green star candle on the daily. But that would still create a problem for me with the weekly chart. And this is why my allocation right now, this is why I am still 75% long as we speak. But I am willing to go as low. Oh, I don't have a 75% long sticker. Okay. So this is why I am 75% long right now. And the exit was, it was a little bit above 91.50. It was almost at 92. It was something in this vicinity. And right now, I am only 75% long on my trade. And I'm willing to take another 25% chunk off the table this week. One second.
Did you just say take another 75% off
Actually
this
had no idea what to mute. What happened to my thing?
That's all right. You said takes an additional 75% off. You mean go to cash, raise cash at this point?
Right,
100%.
raise cash, correct. Oh, there it is, found it.
That's
Um,
that's that's pretty aggressive. You call me aggressive. That's aggressive.
yes. I just, besides the fact, I mean, this is no different than crashing into an MRI buy, right? We are flying into an MRI sell. And I'm going to trust this MRI sell because not only are we flying right into a daily MRI sell, it's happening basically inside a weekly MRI sell, which is going to start on Sunday night's candle. There'll be a down candle. And I like seeing the tops on either the candle before, the candle of, or the candle after the MRI top. And out of the three, the candle after the MRI top is not my favorite, right? So this is the most favorable position is when you have a top on the MRI top candle and you're able to sell literally at the high. But having the candle before is also pretty good. So this is one of those rare cases where I am not bullish at an all-time high. And it can only happen with a daily inside a weekly MRI top. And to me, this is pretty much a daily inside a weekly. It's only off by a couple of days. These are very rare situations. Okay. Why is my thing not showing? One second. I need to change something real quick. MRI, I need
Display multiple.
display higher time frame detail counts. Yeah. Okay. So here the weekly is on an 8. And we can go back and look for when did the daily MRI top with a weekly MRI top. See, here's at the bottom, the M's are telling me this was a monthly MRI top. Here's a weekly MRI top, but there isn't much daily in there. But you can see how the weekly MRI top is very, very critical. and then we went down quite a bit. So here's a weekly MRI top, but again, there's no daily really. There was a daily MRI top, but this was like a full 4 or 5 days earlier. Sorry, that's an MRI buy. That's not even a top. And these situations are very rare. And because they're so rare, I have to take them seriously. I mean, otherwise, why am I using this indicator every day for my trading analysis? Here's a yearly, right? That's why you got this long guy here. So we almost have to go back to these all-time highs. This almost never happens.
Mm.
Like here's a daily MRI top, but there's no weekly under it. But here's a daily with a C that calls a beautiful top. And here's a weekly MRI top, but the daily came a long time earlier. Uh, Also, I don't have my green diamond because I have mine set to reverse, and I
Yeah.
think that's coming. Uh, Guys, I just think there's going to be a pullback this weekend. I think right now I'm getting out. I'm getting out up to 50%. Either way, I'm probably going to be out 50% by end of day on Friday. One of two things is going to happen. Either we'll go up and make a new high today or tomorrow, which means I'm exiting another 25%, or we start to crash and I'm exiting another 25%. The only way I do not exit 25% is if the price is literally $91,500 at Friday's close. Then I'm going to hold through the weekend because now I'm going to look at the lower level time frames. And here is my constrained envelope, right? So here's the high, but the high is 93. I'm dropping this down. I'm dropping this to 92, between 92,000 right here, and the secondary low, which was, I'm going to even put this at 89 and a half. 89 and a half. This zone right here between, I'm going to extend it. The only way I am holding 75% of my position into the weekend is if the price of Bitcoin remains between 89 and a half and 91 and a half. That's a $3,000 volatility zone. Only if we stay in this zone am I holding my 75% position through the weekend. Otherwise, either it's going to break below 89 and a half, and now I'm expecting it to go into the 70s, or at the least down to 82, 83, because that's where all the moving averages are. And the MRI support line is at 86, and the weekend's coming. So either I'm exiting at 89 and a half, and don't be surprised if I end up exiting at like 90,000, because I want to exit above 90. So I can even raise this a little bit, but because we're pre-market open, I want to give this a little bit of time, like this morning and stuff, to just give me some volatility. Or I'm exiting above 92,000. Now, where am I going to exit above 92,000? Am I just going to enter at 92,000 and be happy? And the answer is no, because if we start to break above 92,000, let's say at 1 o'clock today, I still have until tomorrow night to pick my exit. So if we start flying, it's going to be just like yesterday. Remember yesterday, Matt, you wanted to sell it like 91 and a half, and I said, why? Just freaking wait, just keep waiting, right? So it's the same.
That's a misquote, but yes, go ahead.
But it's close. Uh, and so if we start flying above 92,000, hell, I'll hold it all the way to 96. But I do plan to exit at the highest price I think I can get before end of day trading on Friday. So that's basically my plan in case I don't end up doing any more videos the rest of the week. Now you guys know what my plan is.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
And
awesome.
we'll
Do that.
glance
Do
at
that. Oh, go back. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Just go back. That was great. We're almost touched the line there. Do that.
almost. But the thing is, though, it's not the line we need to pass. We actually need to pass the purple line because the green one is 2 cycles ago. It just started off slow. The purple is last cycle.
Does that matter? I wonder if does that have any relevance? It's just we're not the
No, I just think it's cool looking. I think we are going to be crossing the purple. I mean, like, hell, In order to cross the purple, we got to be above 120,000 in 2027. I think we can do that.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Uh, and Okay, so real quick, oil not interesting. Gold continues to pull back. This makes me a little more concerned for Bitcoin. I mean, look, no one thought gold was going to pull back, and look what it did on the MRI. So I'm trusting the MRI here. S&P 500 is holding up today. It's just not moving. It's near the top. Everyone is digesting which people Trump is picking for his cabinet. The Fed lowered rates again. I want to enjoy my weekend. I want to enjoy the conference in El Salvador. And What's today? And On Monday, I'm going to Rotan and I'm going to spend like 3 days underwater, basically. So I, I'll set my entries back up. This is the Fidelity ETF. Yep, that was my exit I had two exits here. My initial exit was at 79.45. That's where that blue line is. 79.45. That was the exit yesterday morning because I had that set from earlier. And then there was another exit higher in the 80s. And Yeah, and the Bitcoin ETFs, I'm actually based on where the Bitcoin price is, I'm a little surprised that the Bitcoin ETFs have not been buying as much as I expected them to be buying. And But the numbers are looking crazy right now overall. We are almost at 47,000 Bitcoin purchased by the ETFs this month alone. Plus, Michael Saylor bought thousands of Bitcoin on top of this. And for the first time, we might have a month where GBTC buys Bitcoin and doesn't sell it. Okay. So the numbers are looking really, really good. Look at our Q4 already. I think the number of Bitcoin bought in Q4 is going to challenge the number of Bitcoin bought in Q1, back when twice as many Bitcoin was being mined. And I think next year is going to be an awesome year. And Overall, the ETFs are holding over 1 million Bitcoin. And You see all the numbers right here. And Grayscale is not Grayscale, sorry. BlackRock is just crushing it. They are absolutely dominating trading volume. They're dominating everything. Number of Bitcoins held. You can see it on a daily basis, right? So Fidelity is barely keeping up. They're buying 2,000 Bitcoin, and BlackRock is like 8,000, 8,000. And then, Yeah, the Wednesday's numbers are kind of low. I guess that was the peak in the markets. So that's my plan. My plan is to be exiting here at the MRI tops, and it's going to be rough for me to come back in because the weekly is only going to be at an MRI top next week. So I'm expecting I don't
Are
buy
you
an
gonna stay
MRI.
out are you staying out of the market for 3 weeks? No, no way.
I might be
Gonna
staying out of the market for 3 weeks, man, because I
give me a
can't buy next
break.
week. I can't buy the week after. So I gotta wait until like Thanksgiving week, right? Until like after Thanksgiving. Hey, there's Black Friday sales everywhere. Maybe you get a
You
nice
you're
discount. Bitcoin could be on a nice Black Friday sale
you'll
according to my indicators.
you'll break your rules like a girl on prom night, mate, when it comes to Bitcoin the next 3 weeks. It's going up. It's going up. It's ripping right now too. We're at 91,300. I'm back in 10% profit on this trade. So hell, rock and roll.
All right. Well, look, I would like to exit closer to 96 tomorrow. So maybe I'll get my chance.
Let's do it. All right. Thank you so
All right.
much. Thanks for your time.
Where's the stop screen share? There it is. All right, cool. All right.
All right, guys.
And
Thank you so much for joining me. I'm sorry about my
let's keep
throat.
coming.
Uh, we got the doggy there. All right. I'm
Yeah.
gonna go cut up my dogs. See you the same time tomorrow
Okay.
for the Friday show. I think Bitcoin's gonna push through. Boom. And old Matt's gonna make some cash. If you want to make some cash too, links in the description below. Same time tomorrow. See you there.
Later, guys.